How do you remember your relationship with GSP? How do you remember your fight with him? I know you went and trained with him later. You know, when you saw him walk away from the sport, I think you talked about this in the episode here 2.5 years ago. I think you said, I hope he walks out on a win. And I think you even said, I think he's only got a few fights left in him, which is really pretty amazing because I didn't see that coming. Yeah, how do you think of him?
You know, I have nothing but good things to say about George. I mean, the fight itself was one of the toughest tests of my life. You know, I spent 25 minutes fighting somebody off, and I didn't take a great deal of damage, but I was always on the back foot. I never mounted any kind of offensive, and that in 25 minutes is annoying for me, but impressive, in my opinion, for George to be able to take somebody completely out of their game. But I didn't really know what kind of person he was when I fought him. And obviously we had a few moments after the fight where he asked me if my arm was made of rubber and all that.
Which arm was it?
The armbar was this one and the Kimura was this one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny, you did grab your right arm right when you said something.
Yeah.
But it was the Kimura. Okay, so armbar there at Kimura.
Yeah.
But you kept cranking that Kimura, right?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
The Kimura was the closest. I could feel the pressure in my shoulder for that one, but the armbar, I just managed to keep my arm slightly bent all the time and kept it moving.
But I've been in Kimuras, and it's a pain that's not a very nice pain. It's something very primal that tells that reptile brain that we got a real problem here. You better slowly back up, get it out of the vine.
Yeah.
You know, do you ever think about that pain and how you were able not to succumb to it?
Not really. No, it's not. I don't see it as particularly unusual. I think if you want something enough, it doesn't really matter what's in your way. And more than anything in that fight, I was just driven to show that I wasn't going to quit. You know, I had so many people count me out. I think I was one of the biggest underdogs in a UFC title fight that there ever has been.
Wow.
You know, I think I was like plus 900 on the day or something. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, the fight went exactly how it was supposed to. It couldn't have been any better, because if I'd have knocked him out, I would have been in the Matt Serra category and I would have never been considered a real champion, which makes me sad because Matt Serra made the most of a situation that he'd created for himself and won the world title. And that's the way it goes in this sport sometimes. But there was a concern that, you know, if I was going to win the fight, I was going to knock him out. If I was going to knock him out, it was going to be probably a left hook that I caught as a counter, which then would have become the lucky punch, which then would have meant that I would have fought him straight away in a rematch and probably got out-wrestled like I did in the first one, you know? Whereas if I'd have been armbarred in the first round, like people had predicted, that was what we expected, so we don't need to think about that anymore.
That's a fascinating way of looking at that fight. Well, a lot of guys, you know, you look at that old school bitter boxer that we all know in the movies, he'd be like, oh yeah, that night, I never got my fair shake, it could have changed my life. But with you, you're like, it was a fight outcome that would have happened, maybe, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the right thing for that night.
And so you talked to George later, and he was like, you got an arm of rubber, and you started a relationship with him after that?
Yeah. Well, at the time, not really, no. I mean, I didn't speak to him for a couple of years after the fight. And I think it was Faraz that reached out to me and asked me if I would come up and help him train.
His trainer at TriStar Gym, okay.
Yeah.
To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonrealacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Real, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonrealacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.